Hello guys and gals, me Mudahar, and today we've got the sun coming up, which means we're going to look into a little YouTube conspiracy. Now the reason why I'm doing this, that the sun has come up, is ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to really hone in on the fact that we shouldn't take everything we read on the internet entirely seriously. When I was a kid, alright, they pretty much told us to verify like a million sources and really figure out if things were as real as they seemed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, according to the title, obviously, you know this is about Kate Yup. Now, about a year-ish ago, I think actually a couple of years ago at this point, we covered a topic regarding a YouTuber or a mukbanger known as Kate Yup. Now, Kate Yup was one of those mukbangers that, if you remember the name Marina Joyce, you obviously remember a time where people basically took an internet theory and ran it with just, it basically took over by wildfire. For the longest time, we all thought Marina Joyce was kidnapped or under coercion, or there were just a lot of nefarious things going behind the scenes. And eventually it all turned out to be a nothing burger, all right? Marina Joyce is still actively making content on the platform every other month. This is not somebody that has been taken in by some scary organization, so to speak. Now, of course, when it comes to Kate Yup and it comes to the mukbang community, for the longest time, there were a few people who wondered, maybe this was a kidnapped person being forced to make mukbang content in front of millions of people on YouTube. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to people who have been kidnapped or just hidden, usually it's sometimes in the best interest that they're not plastered in front of millions of actual users. Typically, people that are kidnapped can very easily be identified if there's enough, attention put towards them. Now, at the time, we all looked at this, and it was one of those situations where I guess there were a boatload of theories floating around. Let's actually dive back into Kate Yup and recap properly. Now, Kate Yup's channel has actually blown up considerably since the last time we looked at it. Last time we were looking at this was about a 500,000 sub channel, and it's actually jumped up to 1.53 million. So obviously, the attention that it got absolutely paid off. Now, of course, the reason why I'm looking into it is because she's back, ladies and gentlemen. Kate Yup is back. I am so hungry. I devour everything. 3.1 million views, which proves no matter where you are in life, if you leave for 3 goddamn years and come back stuffing your face, lordy, you will always be treated with a good bust of views. Now, obviously, Kate Yup was doing pretty fine on her channel beforehand, but if you actually look closer into the video section, you're going to notice that there's a lot of videos that are actually missing from this pool. Now, this is a video that I made almost 2 years ago, and of course, this is when whole Kate Yup rabbit hole started. So you can actually see she had about 500,000 subscribers, but there were actually some videos that were removed. If you compare this to her actual channel now, the video I Am Alive, for instance, is actually still active on her channel. You can actually see it right here 3 years ago. But of course, if you actually look carefully at other videos that have been removed, you can actually see that videos where she has "I lose my tooth during this meal," which that video has actually since been removed from the platform. I can't find it. And if it is there, we don't actually have the same title, so to speak. So obviously there was an element of playing things up for the entire people that were investigating the situation. And why were they investigating Kate Yup, for instance? Well, see, at the time, there were a few oddities in her videos. One of them was basically where she had her tooth missing in that exact video that we just talked about. So here's the actual tooth that was lost in question. Of course, you have other scenarios where, inside her actual video, instead of her providing commentary on the mukbang, like a mukbanger like Nico Kato would, the actual reality over here is she actually had a bunch of text blurbs that were put in, part of the editing software, and inside these blurbs were a little bit suspicious, a little suspicious notes. For instance, here you can see the meat is so delicious, soft and tender. However, what you have to really be looking for are the capitalizations in this. You can see that you've got S and then O and then you've got a S again. So right here at the end of delicious. So of course, a lot of people looked at that and wondered, maybe it's SOS, save our souls, the actual universal call sign for when things are gone tits up. And of course, there were more things too. For instance, right over here, there were some moments where you had various words bolded. I think in some of these videos, the words HELP were bolded, which of course spell out help. And I think a lot of this was obviously the editors and the people behind the channel playing it up for the people investigating. I think it's a lot of the reason is why people jumped into these videos to begin with. Some of those videos where you have capitalized words are still actually active on the channel. like for instance, I am alive. And in fact, if you look at the descriptions for some of these things too, you can see like they're literally, it's the cost of the meal. And then I am a girl, I eat fast and I know the risks, but always ate this way. I have any health problems, my metabolic system is adapted, you don't have to worry about this. And the reason why this statement was made, because people looked very closely at her body, they looked at her like arms, sometimes they could find weird like markings, maybe a bruise here and there. And of course, when people see that, they were immediately wondering, maybe this is somebody that's coerced, maybe that's a sign of kidnapping, who knows? 2 years ago, one of the posts that I read and got me sort of involved into this is literally still up here. For instance, by this person, does anyone have an update or theories on Kate Yup? Just went down the rabbit hole on YouTube and I'm quite alarmed and equally disgusted. There are so many theories and I really don't know where to begin, but here is my biggest takeaway. Some say that she's kidnapped, but if you notice in her videos, she always seems to have her nails done, looks fairly professional. Her clothes are put together, her nails are done, she has cute dainty rings on her fingers, and she has a beautiful smile. But yet when she wears a blindfold like in her last video, the whole of the blindfold looks haphazardly cut. I can't imagine a girl who goes through all this effort of displaying the food, editing the video, only to half-ass on something like her blindfold cut. Another thing that strikes me as odd is the unusual grammar in the video. Weird spacing with her exclamation marks and capitalizing letters. It almost seems intentional. And of course, this is where I was sort of jumped into this whole thing too. Again, if somebody is actually kidnapped, as a kidnapper, all right, as somebody committing that crime and stealing an actual human being away, you probably don't want to plaster them in front of a social media service that actively also works with law enforcement and have videos that are viewed by millions of users, millions of people, where all it takes is that one person, that one guy, that one girl to actually identify if this might actually be a real missing persons. And some people did link this to an actual missing persons case as well too. One that's still active all the way from the FBI. This is back in 2018. Carly Gousset, which is basically a missing persons. I believe this person is still missing. And this is the person that they were linking Kate Yup to. So they were looking clearly at like the face. They were looking like at the bottom section of it. I'm obviously blurring this out because I think these photos are exactly from like when this person was like 17, and I don't feel comfortable putting like a child up, even though this person is still actively missing. This is a Federal Bureau of Investigation wanted poster regarding a kidnapping. Now, of course, what was the actual link there? People were comparing low resolution photos, which don't really bode well. Now, I don't think this person is the same as Kate Yup. I don't think this is where we're going to. Had it actually been, I believe the FBI would have thoroughly investigated and followed up on a potential tip that big. There are also other things regarding her conspiracy. Like, for instance, here she's actually opening up some of her like foods. Like, she's opening up what appears to be like a cactus or like a rough vegetable with a razor sharp knife. That is a pretty sharp actual knife that I'm witnessing over here too. The other things you can see is she's also got scissors to open up some of the shellfish. So obviously she has weapons available. If she was truly coerced, I feel like this is somebody that has at least some tools to fight back. Clearly, the coercion factor isn't all the way there, ladies and gentlemen. This is somebody who's discovered that they were being investigated and decided to play up just so they could get all those investigatory views, so to speak. And it worked. Their channel blew up. To show you the level of investigations, going back to Marina Joyce, this is one of the biggest like paste-its that I've actually found regarding somebody who like actually looked into some of her now deleted videos, and they were actually timestamping and basically psychoanalyzing everything that had effectively happened, literally mentioning side effects of drugs known as speed, for instance, where again, you know, people who are investigating on the internet really need to make sure their I's are dotted and their T's are crossed before they actually jump in. Some of the people that investigate these kind of things haphazardly, going half-cocked, literally start linking to things that have no real tangible connections. It's kind of like cryptocurrency investigations, or really investigations in general. Unless you have 100% definitive proof of something, it's better to leave it on the drawing board or on the cutting room floor, so to speak. There were even some YouTubers like T-channels entirely, you know, T-channels who are pretty infamous for not doing any goddamn fucking research in any of this shit, where you can actually see some of the top comments literally pinned by the channels, where you can see like the extent of some of these conspiracy theories. For instance, one of them was, I'm thinking she is captured, because it's a lot of crazy things, conspiracy theories, but to me, and make a lot of sense when I look at the footage, choose help capture and video her and make money as well. It is called the dark web. Oh shit. All right, here we go again. Basically, they have kidnapped drugs, weapons, and other things on the dark web. Yeah, they have it in reality too. They also do videos and sell it, but we don't know how is this true or false when they broadcast in YouTube. But I think it would do it because once they buy a kidnapper person, they could do any day out there what, and nobody is going to believe it. I guess she posed to do it, and she did to be alive and to eat, and she was starving. You know, I give up. I give the fuck up right now. I don't even know what I'm actually reading at this point. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, it's as simple as this, okay? Kate Yup is a YouTuber that found out she was being investigated, and she left for a few years, which kind of I understand, because you could imagine that while she was definitely getting the viewership, there was obviously a fair amount of harassment and investigations into possibly her personal life as well, too. In a community post from her channel 3 years ago, she obviously stated, "Hey everyone, it's urgent to clarify my situation. Everything is okay for me, nobody forcing me to eat, and I have any health problems. These marks on my arms are caused by the sun, just like this wound on my lip, usually called herpes labialis. I love what I do, be sure." And then you got like an array of emojis. I don't know whether this string of webdings is supposed to be a cry for help. Thank yous. Full peace and love for you. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much how it just ended off. Now, of course, despite all of that, Kate Yup did come back to the entire internet, and of course, it's one thing to really assess and look through. So again, 4 weeks ago, she did post a video that got like 3 million views, and this one was Kate Yup, hashtag Kate, salmon, savage eating, raw food, ASMR sounds, Japanese food, and Chinese food. Now, of course, she comes back and pretty much says, "Hey, look at me, I'm fine, everything's okay, love you, my friends." And I'm glad that she is okay, because for the while that she was missing, I kind of thought something might have been up. I mean, 3 years missing out of nowhere makes a man question, but here she is grabbing a crap ton of food that she's obviously not going to eat, and here she is eating once again. Now, I don't know what's up with the whole, superhero style action, but this is Kate Yup, full-on mask, full-on consuming all the food imaginable. Again, I have no idea how I don't even know how she's gonna finish all of it. I feel full watching it. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, she hasn't been kidnapped apparently. She is still alive and well, eating her mukbang food, consuming it till the day's end. Now, you know, when I look at the entire story of Kate Yup and it comes to internet investigations and stories, it really just reminds me of another set of investigations, typically around TikTok. Or remember when we had the whole Wayfair conspiracy where people looked at a bunch of like cabinet placeholder items, saw that they were like $30,000. I mean, they had like linked names to like missing persons, all right, because they were like super generic names. And people thought that that was possibly the elite selling children or, you know, kidnapped, trafficked victims over a furniture website on the internet. Of course, there was no actual proof to the entire situation. There was no actual like confirmed case of somebody being taken away. There was none of that, except people ran with the conspiracy because it looked a little shady, all right? You see, that's the thing with these conspiracies. Every time there's like a nugget of like weird, uneasy shit, people take it and they basically like extrapolate it to the ends of the earth. And that's where you have situations like Kate Yup that comes up. Now, don't get me wrong. For 3 years, around 2 to 3 years, when she wasn't uploading, I might have had some of my questions. But I didn't think that there was anything super nefarious going on. So honestly, this is kind of like closure to me. Like knowing that she uploaded her video and the hysteria of the internet really didn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things shows me that this is just another mukbanger who found out how to market themselves absolutely well. Ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mutahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I personally hope my theories don't age wrong, but who knows? I could be completely wrong in this situation. But yeah, if you like what you saw, let me know. This is me, Muta, and I am